Hey, what up, guys? It's me, Johnny James. Alright, let's have a little discussion tonight. You know, I've been through some pretty traumatic shit in my life. Starting in the first grade with my house burning down, you know what I mean? My parents separating. Being kicked out of every school I was ever going to. In the 6th grade, I got charged with being a terrorist, and it was for some shit I didn't even do. And I ended up being put in a mental institution for it, and they ended up putting needles in my ass like this to calm me down all the time, and I didn't even know why I was there. And you know what I mean, between you know what I mean, being shipped around to different behavior schools and to different, you know what I mean, I went out to PA, and when I got out PA, I ended up catching a Walmart on fire and blew up the whole back end of it, and, you know, I ended up being on probation, and ended up going into boot camp and going into group homes and being just taken away from my mother. And you know, I just never had no security in life, and you know, it's like since the beginning, I've had to go through some fucked up shit, and you know, I was sitting here a second ago while I was rolling this blunt, and I was thinking back to the night I got stabbed up, and I got stabbed up pretty damn bad. I got hit 5 times. in this one occasion that I'm talking about. And you know, it was a very cold night, and I would smoke K2 at nighttime to help me get through the night because of it being so cold. And I was down there on Howard Street in front of the 7-Eleven, and I was sleeping there that night along with a bunch of other, you know, alright, so there's, in the city, sometimes, you know what I mean, we link up, like me and other homeless people, we link up and shit, like, we break law together and shit, hit shit at night and shit. We're all a bunch of misfits and just junkies, and, you know what I mean, we all have no guidance or nothing like that, and, you know what I mean, we're all on drugs, and then, you know what I mean, it was like 7 of us there, and I'm the only white boy, and, you know what I mean, we're smoking the K that night and shit, and I don't know what ended up happening, but something ended up breaking out, and, you know what I mean, all I know is they started jumping me, and, you know what I mean, next thing I know, I pull my knife out, and I go to stab somebody, and, you know what I mean, next thing I know, I'm being stabbed up. So, I got hit in my spine, I got hit in my ass cheek, I got hit in my hand right here, I got hit up here, and I got hit right there. I remember after it happened, you know what I mean, I remember the fear that went through my mind and my body and my head, you know, and I was absolutely terrified because I had no idea how bad it was. And all I knew was I was bleeding a lot. You know what I mean? I knew my ass cheek was wide open, and I knew my back was bleeding a lot, and my finger was hanging halfway off, and this, you know what I mean? He ended up going all the way through, you know what I mean? And that was from when I was blocking. They were coming down on me like that, so I was blocking, and they ended up catching my hands and shit. I remember being scared that night. And, you know, everybody I seen, I asked them how bad is it, and they'd be like, oh, you're bleeding so bad, you need to go to the hospital. And I remember my addiction and my disease not allowing me to go to the hospital. It wouldn't allow me. I didn't have time to sit there and get sick, and I didn't have time to go through all that shit. Like, I had to get high every couple hours, and my habit was so heavy, and so, you know what I mean? I ended up taking duct tape and taping my finger together and taping it back on. And, you know, about a week went by and I got a real bad infection in my whole arm and hands. And, you know what I mean? My ass cheek was really bad. It was so big they couldn't even stitch it up because it just, you know what I mean? They tried the first time and it just kept opening up. So now I got a really big scar on my ass cheek. And, you know what I mean? Thank God they were able to save my finger. I had to do physical therapy for my hands to be able to use them. And it's a miracle, they said, that my hands work because of the tendons that was cut in the, you know what I mean? That's why I have real bad nerve damage in my hands now. You know what I mean? And in my arm. You know, it's crazy to think how powerful addiction is. You know, I've had some very traumatic times. I found one of my friends would have his head gone and his body and his stomach missing. And, you know what I mean? Me and this dude, Josh Level, found this dude and we knew him. And, you know what I mean? The way the situation happened was a very scary situation. You know what I mean? We went in to this pitch dark room. We didn't even know he was there. And I stepped on something and I turned my flashlight on my phone. And this scary ass dude was dead as fuck, would have his head going, rats running around everywhere, and my foot's inside of his stomach. I'm standing inside of him. It was fucked up, and it gave me nightmares for a long time. And, you know what I mean? These are the reasons that I smoke. Because, you know what I mean, I live with this shit in my head every day, and, you know, it's hard. It's really hard. I've seen somebody hang themselves. I've seen people shot. I've seen a 10-year-old die right in front of me. A 10-year-old ate 4 bullets right in front of me on North Avenue. And had he not been standing there, I would have been the one hit. So that day fucked me up. I ended up having to call my ex-wife Angela, and right after the incident, and talking to her, and I was so scared. And, you know what I mean? There was another time that I was going to go cop on down there by Franklin and Carrollton on Hollins and Payson, and, you know what I mean? A drive-by went down, and it was real bad, and, you know what I mean? The block was on Hollins and Payson. They were on the boys were on the corner, and there's like 9 of them, and the drive-by was 4 people in the car, and 3 of them came out of the car, you know what I mean? Hung out of it and started shooting, and they started shooting back, and I was in the crossfire, and I ended up hiding behind a car, and people were hit. You know what I mean? When I came up, people were laying in the street, and one person was laying, like, they crashed the car that was doing the drive-by originally, ended up crashing, and somebody was hanging out of it, and it was bad, man. It was real bad. I seen somebody bent over like a rainbow over a brick wall one time. And he was dead there. He was dead for a couple days there, and people were just getting high all around him, and I couldn't do it. I had to walk away. I had to get the fuck away from there. As bad as I wanted to get high, too, I just did not want to be there around them people doing that, you know what I mean? Like, what if I would have gone out, they would have just robbed me and took all my shit, and I would have been that rainbow. I would have been that guy bent over like a rainbow, maybe. I watched the guy die. I didn't watch him die. I found him dead behind Burger King on North Avenue, and he laid there all summer until they finally came and got him. When they finally came and got him, they were getting him off the ground, and his skin and all that shit was stuck to the concrete. And you know what I mean? It's crazy watching the body decompose. You know what I mean? He went from, you know what I mean, he was dirty. He was a dirty homeless boy, but he went from, you know what I mean, you could tell, but, and then once he would look, you know what I mean, the color of the skin, and, you know what I mean, kind of looked like he was blew up in a bomb for real, like, he was so gray and so, can't explain it, man, it was nasty. It was really nasty. I think about when I got shot. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when I got shot, it was so surreal. Like, I didn't comprehend everything that was going on. I was so high on coke. And, I know, you know, I knew I got shot. But I honestly didn't know. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought maybe I got grazed. And, I was also too nervous to look, and, you know what I mean, I got hit in the top of my leg, and, I ended up getting on the metro that night, and, passing out, you know, and they woke me up around 1 o'clock in the morning at Owens Mills, kicking me off, and I had blood everywhere, and I could barely walk, and, you know what I mean, I remember getting down there and getting outside of that metro station, and I laid down on the bench and I went to sleep. And I woke up and I had swore I had a half a pill and a half a coke left, and I didn't. And I woke up really fucking sick. And my leg was really black and it was really swollen, and I couldn't walk. And I was stuck at this metro station in Owens Mills. And I had no drugs, and I had 11 warrants out for my arrest. And I had no choice but to turn myself in. And this was on 7/13/23. And that's when I got clean. You know what I mean? That was the day they rushed me over there to the hospital, and, you know what I mean, they put me in surgery, and I did a couple different surgeries, and a couple days later, you know what I mean, I believe they put me on the Suboxone, and, you know what I mean, I sat there for, I think, a little over 3 weeks, handcuffed to the bed, and, yep, and they took me over there to the city. I went over there to the city, stayed there for 2 weeks, and then got transferred to Towson. And then from Towson, I went to Talbot County. From Talbot County, I went to Anne Arundel County. And I finished up everything, and, you know what I mean, now I'm on a 3-year probation for stealing my father's truck, which I did a year of jail time on. And, you know what I mean, I'm getting ready to complete that coming up here shortly. And, you know, I got a little over 2 years into my little recovery. And I was only able to get it because my father had like an abando, that house that I said burnt down in the first grade. It had burnt down again. And when it did, we sold that property, and, you know what I mean, the insurance money helped us out a lot. You know what I mean, it got him out of debt, and, you know what I mean, I was able to make out from having a lot of shit in the house. And, you know what I mean, my dad helped me invest some money that I had made out with on a settlement. And, you know what I mean, it put me in a good predicament, you know what I mean, to be able to live a normal life now, you know what I mean, because we own this house, and this is mine and my father's home, but it's mine, you know, and, you know, I'm building my life and I'm building my future, and I just never thought I'd be here. I never thought I'd be here. And I'm very happy that I'm here. I'm very proud of myself for pulling off everything that I pulled off. And, you know, when I think about my situation, and I'm like, how did I even do it? You know, how did I fucking pull that off? But I did. You know, I pulled everything off between, you know what I mean, I just pulled everything off. And it's like I continue to pull shit off, you know. I got these big dreams and big goals that I'm chasing right now. It's going to take a few years to get everything to happen the way I want them to, but, you know what I mean? I got a good head on my shoulders now, and it feels good, you know? My name is Johnny James. I don't want to make this too long. It's already been 15 minutes, so I love y'all.